Da, 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 da. Hey, all Duff here. No, this is not an optical illusion. This is actually my Prusa Mini. It's finally arrived. I ordered this, I think, it was such a long time ago, but I think I ordered it on the first day it was available. Worst case, maybe the day after, but I'm almost sure it was the first day that you could order it. I ordered this thing. And it was originally supposed to be here the beginning of November. Again, I'm testing my memory, but I believe that's what it said. I guess because of production delays and also because I guess they had some bugs and some design things that they were working on that held up production somewhat. It's taken this long to get here, a solid 3 months plus later than it was supposed to. Prusa veterans would not be terribly surprised by that. Prusa does have a track record of things taking longer to show up than originally promised, but in most cases it's worth a wait, so we shall find out. I am very interested in seeing what we got here. You just dropped on the floor. All right, so here we go, got the box open. Congratulations on getting your printer. This is somewhat interesting. They have a USB drive, a decent looking one right there that says it has firmware. See the handbook with instructions, so I guess you're going to be loading firmware right away maybe. Although I'm kind of surprised it wouldn't be loaded already. And information sheet with all of the parts listed on it. There is more assembly involved with this, not like building an MK3S kit, but there is assembly that needs to be done with this printer. You do not get a full row of filament, you get a little partial roll. And we got some parts, bearings, parts. Wow, a little tiny container of gummy bears. That's funny. I know that Joseph mentioned, oh, okay, I said it. Oh, I think when I ordered this, I forget because it's been so long ago, I did actually order a box of filament with my printer. That was an option. Got the Galaxy Black, one of my favorite colors. So that is an option. It is not included by default. And I know Joseph said that they were very proud that they use very minimal styrofoam in the packing. It's almost all cardboard, so almost all of the recycling material, or the printer packing material is almost all recyclable, so that's cool. So let's get this off, although I probably will be keeping the box for a little while, just in case. All right, so we have our major components here. This sort of reminds me of like maybe, well, I don't know, maybe more than what I would have to do with an Anycubic i3 Mega, but less than I would have to do with a conventional kit. So let's get this all spread out, organized, and put on the table, and we will be back. All right, so here you see the stuff laid out on the desk or on the table. Two major components that are assembled, and then some small parts. I did watch the video that Joe did several weeks back, the assembly video, but I don't remember everything, so I'm going to try to just work off the manual at this point, and if I have any issues, I will be referring back to that video. And you know, this isn't going to be a blow-by-blow how to assemble. This is just going to be kind of filming what I can and giving any tips and feedback that I have along the way. As far as the tools that are included with the Mini, it's just one of these wrenches and an Allen key. In the MK3S, they also include a pliers and some more Allen keys, so less tools needed for assembly. This is another optional part. I opted for the filament sensor. The base Mini does not include a filament sensor, so I did opt for that add-on. Printer shipped with the axis down towards the bottom, but they recommend that for assembly you move it to the top, and the way you do that is by turning your screw until it gets to the top. You should end up at least 3/4 of the printer's height. This is a good time. All right, now opening the screw that holds on the electronics cover. And lift the electronics cover slightly, pull it first towards the aluminum extrusion to release both pins from the holes. Voila. There's a bunch of cables that we have to feed in here, so we'll be doing that next. Okay, the cable for the LCD goes through this little hole here on the side, which I'll probably do once I put the camera down, and attaches this connector right here. It's the only spot it could go. It is a keyed connector, so you can't mess it up. Okay, so I couldn't really film while I was doing this. Let me just try to explain how this is assembled. There's 2 spots where screws go. The M320 goes here. The longer M340 goes in here. That's just like a hole that goes all the way through. And then there's 2 sliding like cage nuts in here that you are basically aligning these screws with. I just have it started loosely. It's not exactly the easiest thing. You can kind of see in there what we're connecting to, but you align those. The instructions are you know, they're clear on what you got to do, but until you actually kind of fiddle around a little bit, it might be a little confusing to you. Okay, so I have this one and this one, not all the way tight, but semi-tight, and then there's another cage nut that you slide up, and you have to slide it underneath this hole here and use the M312 bolt or screw right here. But you're not supposed to tighten everything up all the way yet, but the 3 screws are now all started. Okay, so I have the, let's point you down. I have the printer spun. Like I said, these 3 screws are still loose, so you can slide it. You're supposed to slide it all the way back. There's actually like a stop right here that won't allow you to slide it back any further. Once you have it slid back all the way that it can't move any further, that's the time that you start to tighten the screws. And it says that you want to tighten the top screw first. I'm gonna have to move this, it's kind of hard to get to. All right, tighten this screw first, and then you tighten the long M340 next, which is in the hole right here. And then the M320, which is right here, you tighten that last. Next up, you're attaching the LCD. There's a single screw that goes through the middle. There's a beveled out section on the side that you're going to be installing it into. And you have to find where you put your Allen wrench. And I put it right here. So you're just gonna, this is designed that you can tighten or loosen this screw and adjust the angle of the LCD screen to whatever you find appropriate. So there we go. All right, easy. All right, next we are attaching the cable to the back of the LCD screen. Again, it's keyed, so it will only go in one way. Okay, easy enough. And you're supposed to route that cable inside the extrusion here, in here. So let me do that. I'll be right back. All right, not perfect, but should be good enough. Got that tucked away in there. It's freaking light, man. Okay, so now we're connecting the Y cables for the Y stepper motor. They were rubber banded up underneath the frame, so you got to take that off. Route it through the hole right here, kind of keep it tucked along the right side of the box, and then it connects right here. It's the middle connector. It's the only open connector between 2 that are populated, so right there is where it goes. Okay, now it's the heated bed connector. The main power connector goes right here towards the back of the box, and then right above it is the thermistor connection. Just give me a second and I will show you once I make sure I have them in there correctly. Having your workspace well lit would be helpful, or have someone with younger eyes maybe. There we go. Okay, clicked into place. Hopefully you can see that. Here and here. That's your heat bed and thermistor. Like I said, I have the optional filament sensor on mine, so I keep losing my spot. So you need to connect this to your Bowden tube, push it all the way in, it says. I'm having a hard time seeing if I'm all the way in or not. Alright, I think I have it in there right. It says you're supposed to do a test fit. It's going through, so hopefully that's correct. It doesn't seem like this inserts very far into the body. You know, I pushed as hard as I could, so because the actual sensor is in the middle part here. Okay, so the filament sensor, there's only one spot it can go. There's only one open connector remaining, so that's where we're going to put it, and snaps into place there. And we got to figure out how all these wires get tidied up. So that should be all the electrical connections inside of the box, I believe. Okay, so these three bundles here, they kind of need to go in the corner, and they get pinned in place. There's little tabs here, so you put the tabs in, push that down, and then this just kind of, okay, we'll figure this out here. Let's see, what is that? You have there's different little holes here. Okay, interesting. I just noticed this now. There's different little cutouts on this cover for the different wire weaves. A fat one, an in-between one, and a small one. So you need to align these accordingly. So just let me do a little bit of futzing here and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is your extruder bundle. This is your hotbed bundle, heated bed bundle. And if you have a filament sensor, it goes in the back there. So that's sort of what it looks like. Okay, next up is the spool holder. So I don't expect this to be very challenging. I will assemble this and report back if there's anything that's a gotcha. Okay, pretty simple. I have one half done. You're just inserting two nuts, and then you're putting the bearings in between, putting an M312 screw through both sides, and then this is your one base, and you're just repeating it. You're doing the same thing twice. Put my bearings on, make a bearing sandwich. Insert my screw. They say when you tighten this, you want it snug, but you want to make sure that the bearing can still spin freely inside. Okay, very good. Okay, we got our two base pieces. Okay, these are the base pieces, which they slide into these slots that are on the bottom. So the first ones you want flush, and then you secure them with the screw. You slide the second base on, and you make the width appropriate for whatever spool size you're using. So that's what I'll do. I was worried that this would be kind of a pain, this construction, but compared to doing the MK3 builds and the MMU2S, this is a walk in the park compared to either of those. No problem whatsoever. Okay, so sliding my second base piece on, you're supposed to adjust it to the width of your spool. That looks pretty good. And then take that off and then drop your final 2 screws in place to set it in place. Last step is they give you some anti-slip pads on this little piece here. So you just pop each one out, got to take the adhesive off the back and then stick them here, okay, to make sure that you're not sticking them on your cross supports, because if you ever want to adjust them in the future, they would make it difficult. So makes sense. Having longer fingernails might help with this process. Okay, just like that, 1 down, 3 to go. Okay, it's basically built. All that's left is just plugging in the power supply, and then once you do that, then you get into the process of setting it up and calibrating it for the first print, which I will come back and probably do tomorrow. So I think we will stop here, and I will be back more. I'll be back tomorrow with the exciting conclusion. Okay, welcome to the next evening. I've skipped ahead, did some stuff off camera. Basically just set it up. I tried to go through the setup routine. You know, there's like a wizard when you turn on Prusa printers that the first time it'll go through, checks all the motors, the tolerances, and all that kind of stuff. And there's something weird going on where when it wants to test the hot end and the heated bed, it was trying to raise the temperatures to 280 degrees on the hot end and 100 degrees on the bed, which are the absolute max temperatures for each of them. And whenever that happened, it did not complete the test. It like timed out before it could get to that temperature for whatever reason. It was weird, but it gets the temperature just fine. Like I preheated it to PET G temperatures just fine. Everything is working, but for some reason on the self-test, that does not work correctly. This does have the current firmware as of this recording, which is 402. So I'll have to do some research on it. I'm not too worried. I basically just did a manual bed level from the control, and then I did the first layer calibration, which is basically an identical procedure as what you're doing on an MK3 or MK3S. And I am printing the Buddy test print that is on the USB stick that's over there. With the Prusa Mini, it's kind of interesting that it has this new and improved screen, nice color LCD screen, very compact. But it's not a touch screen. You might think it's a touch screen from your first impressions, but it is not. You still control things by rotating the dial and pressing it in to select things, but I like it. And the Prusa Mini also has some additional cool features. Instead of using SD cards, we're now using USB drives if you're going to print that way. But this also has a network connection, an Ethernet network connection. So you can print this. Prusa is coming out with some new print farm technology, and the Mini is the first Prusa printer that is going to utilize that, at least that's my understanding. So I'll be looking forward to playing with that in the future. You can see the setup that I have for the spool. It's on the spool holder. It's tight in here. You know, I had 3 printers here, now I have 4. It's a little tight. I'm not sure if I'll keep this configuration or if I'll try to put another printer down low there to give me a little bit more space. I'm not sure. I'll mess around with it, but for now it works. It's tight, but there's just enough space to get everything clearance to print. Loading filament through the filament detector was very easy. You just push it through that assembly. You push it up to the extruder, it senses it and pulled it in without a problem. One of the advantages of the Prusa Mini being so small is it can print quite quick. I saw some videos that Joe Prusa did showing how Minis can actually produce things faster than an MK3S just because of how quickly they can print, because they have you know, less momentum or less weight to create momentum, which makes printing fast sometimes problematic. So I'm going to be very interested to see what kind of performance I get out of this thing. We shall see. Wrap it up for the video. Like I said, it wasn't a step-by-step kind of deal. It was just sort of loosely following the build process, the setup process. If you are a prior Prusa owner, you're not going to have any issue doing this. It's things are going to feel very familiar to you, just smaller, just smaller scale. Build did not take long, probably an hour or less, something along those lines. And I'll let you know how these prints turn out. This initial test print is looking quite clean, so hopefully that's the way things continue. And I'll give you reports of how this printer performs in my print farm down the road. So if you found this video interesting, please give it a big thumbs up. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please think about subscribing. I haven't been real consistent with 3D content, but as always, trying to do better. Always try to be more consistent with what I'm doing. That's all I have for you for now. If you have any comments, suggestions, ideas, or thoughts about the Prusa Mini, please leave them in the comment section below. Hope you have a great weekend. Until next time, Duffman out.